What's going on, everyone? My name is Nicholas Merton here from DataDash, and I hope you guys are having a fantastic day wherever you are, because in today's sponsored review, I want to spend some time to talk about what may very well be one of the largest projects we're going to see in 2025 when it comes to the narrative of DePIN and AI. Today, we're talking about none other than Zero G. Now, for those of you who haven't heard about Zero G, they're aiming to build the base foundational layer within Web3 to serve as AI or large language models for a variety of different use cases in crypto and Web3. So a variety of the narratives you can think of, like DeFi or real world assets or NFTs, being able to service AI related services to these different types of projects. And it seems like the market is also really excited about this potential opportunity, as Zero G Labs not only secured $40 million in its seed round, but also a $250 million token purchase commitment, which is going to help the team to deliver on its vision. So I want to talk a little bit today about why I feel that there could be room for an AI-based layer within the Web3 space. But beyond that as well, talk about where the project stands today. It's already got a thriving ecosystem and a live testnet. But beyond that, talk about the node infrastructure around the network and how it aims to play a big role in not only providing the data and consensus to the network, but also providing an ability for people to participate similar to other DePIN projects. We got a lot to unpack here in today's video, so if you happen to enjoy it, consider dropping a like. It's a great way to support the channel. Grab a cup of coffee and let's go ahead and kick things off. So I want to start here by talking about this core concept of a AI layer within the crypto space. If we think about crypto and Web3, a lot of the biggest components of the space have to do with infrastructure, because at the end of the day, you might have great ideas for decentralized applications, you might not have a means to develop them, but they're only going to be as powerful as the underlying infrastructure allows them to be. And when we take a look at a lot of the crypto space, especially networks like Ethereum or other EVM compatible chains, at the end of the day, they are limited in the sense that they can operate through smart contract code and allow for executions of particular functions like swaps or send transactions. But beyond all of this, we've started to find ways to make these networks much more powerful. Being able to, for example, tap into real-world data through networks like Chainlink, which serves as an Oracle solution, pulling data from outside the Web3 world. This is one way where we were able to make Web3-based applications, a vast majority of which use Chainlink nowadays, much more useful. And along with that as well, there have also been a spin up of a whole range of applications like Celestia and Arweave that either help in providing the ability to spin up your own layer 2 ecosystem or be able to have permanent storage of data. But at the end of the day, we're seeing here that there are these new infrastructure plays that are showcasing ways to make Web3, which used to be quite siloed, much more powerful. This is where AI can come in here, and where Zero G can essentially provide a lot of value in the same way that large language models through platforms like ChatGPT and Claude, which not only allow us as end users to be much more productive in the work that we do, but also allows for a whole range of Web 2-based application via their API to become much more powerful in ways we couldn't even have imagined a year or two ago. So this is where I think there may be that potential for an AI-based layer in the crypto space similar to Oracle's and other infrastructure plays. Now, it's important to understand that this is not just some far out concept. In this case, Zero G has already got its own testnet. So if you want to try the Newton testnet and get a feel for what the network offers and its various products, you can always check out the network details here on their testnet guide, get it set up with your MetaMask, and of course, get some testnet funds sent from their faucet so you can try out some of the core products. But I want to go ahead and talk about some of them here in the video. Now, essentially, there are a few key components that allow for Zero G to serve as this kind of AI-related layer. First off is Zero G storage. Now, Zero G storage is aimed at being a decentralized system that effectively stores vast amounts of data for various Web3 applications, ensuring high availability and reliability, so you know that the data source that you're leaning into when using these DeFi systems is not going to be tampered with in any malicious way. It's trustless, verifiable data for these applications in Web3 when there are sensitive monetary transactions. So that's very important to get that right. But beyond that as well, there's also Zero G DA, or data availability. So data availability is focused on providing this infinitely scalable layer that will ensure that data is accessible at all times for these models, as well as various Web3 applications, and make sure that it's verifiable, crucially maintaining the integrity of decentralized applications. So again, this also in many ways goes hand in hand with Zero G storage on an infrastructure component. There's also zero-G serving, which allows for large service providers with a lot of GPU resources, in particular large language model services, to be able to provide those services on an open marketplace to various decentralized applications and use cases in the Web3 market. This is very similar to a kind of Web3 specialized render or golem network, if you will, as we talked about on the channel. And last but not least, there's zero-G chain, which is the network's own EVM-compatible L1 that could allow for a whole range of new applications that couldn't have existed on slower throughput networks like Ethereum and many other EVM-compatible chains that require large data throughput and a lot of transaction volume in order to actually function. So this is something, again, that's also really exciting from the infrastructure component for zero-G chain. But all these together essentially can be found in more greater detail in the docs section. So if you guys want to learn about these different services, I highly recommend you check out the overview section as well as the other docs sections that will allow you to understand better the infrastructure of the network, the different products and what they do, some use cases around it. But speaking of use cases, there are a lot of key things that AI allows for that could be really powerful long term. There's obviously decentralized compute, so being able to crowdsource computing for AI models. AI models are incredibly GPU intensive when you want to train them, so being able to tap in to various GPUs like the one I have in my computer or those that are in the computers of tens and hundreds of thousands of individuals that aren't being utilized to be able to monetize that and help train models is really exciting. You also got AI agents, being able to automate complex on-chain transactions. Having these features in here to be able to automate various DeFi-related transactions or things that are executed on-chain is a really exciting concept. Things like dollar cost averaging and a whole range of other activities that we may not want to engage with on a manual basis to save time and be able to smooth out the user experience. And there's, of course, verifiable inference in this case, making sure that there's trustless verification. This is very important when you're dealing with Web3 based applications where there are funds and money. You do not want to rely on some outside external Web2 source for this, and of course data infrastructure as well, making sure that there's permissionless trading and accessibility to various data models. So being able to readily access data pools that you could utilize for various AI related services without having to have the request or permission from centralized authorities. Now, the big thing here that I want to emphasize is that for zero-G, there's already a really wide range of different projects from layer 2 networks, DeFi applications, gaming, specifically AI plays, and other infrastructure plays. Some of them that stood out to me were Aura. This is probably one of the bigger ones on the network that's focused on DeFi and having something that is quite new and novel, initial model offerings in the crypto space. So this is a really interesting way where AI models can start to enter the scene of Web3 as a kind of infrastructure. But along with that as well, you also have Blade. So this is one of the GameFi projects that's using it for some of the large data storage capabilities that just wasn't possible previously in Web3. That's going to allow for this game to be able to continue being a Web3 game. There's also the ability for Talus to offer smart agents. So as we talked about earlier, this idea of having AI related agents that can execute specific tasks for you, in particular use cases like DeFi. This is again where you can have some really interesting opportunities here, and I'm excited to see where this is going to go over the next couple of months. And then along with that as well, Pond, which is all about a AI model layer for crypto, so having a place where a lot of these models can actually live and be serviced. So for me personally, I'm looking across the board. I'm seeing a lot of exciting projects that are either partnered or actually being developed within the ecosystem. And I think it really puts the project zero-G in a good position to become one of the first front runners in this market of being a data and AI related layer for the whole broader Web3 ecosystem. In the same way, Chainlink was really one of the first amongst the Oracle ecosystem. So that for me gets me really excited. I don't see any players out there that have this kind of reach and this kind of business development going on in the crypto space. Now, of course, if you want to get a little bit more technical, as I mentioned earlier, you can always check out the docs section. I think that's probably the best place to go. But if you really want to get into the nitty-gritty of the infrastructure component here on the network and how it operates, I definitely recommend you guys dive into the white paper. It's only about 20 pages here. It's not too extensive, but it does allow you to kind of go through and really learn a little bit about how the network contrasts to some of the existing solutions like Celestia that we talked about earlier, and also some of the ways in which the network actually functions through its core products. So there's some great infographics and details that you can dive into there. Outside of that as well, there's also the waitlist or zero-G waitlist blog, which gives you some of the biggest updates around the protocol itself and its technological capabilities and some of the partnerships that they recently landed. But on top of all this as well, we got to spend some time to talk about the upcoming node sale. This is really where the DPIN component comes in for zero-G network. In order to provide all these AI related services, match consensus on the network, and be able to facilitate all this data throughput, you are going to need a robust network of node operators in order to maintain this in a decentralized fashion. So it's important to understand that the public sale for the nodes has already launched. There's already been a wide range of different launch pads that are contributing and participating in this launch. So you can see that it's a pretty big deal across the broader crypto ecosystem. But beyond that as well, if you're interested in learning about purchasing a node and contributing to the overall network, then you can check out the node purchasing guide and again see whether or not you're able to actually purchase the node and be able to participate in the broader ecosystem. They service a whole lot of regions across the world, and the idea is to allow for this network to really be owned by the community and those who really have a long-term vision in it rather than just token holders at the end of the day. So that's an important dynamic here to understand. If you guys want to learn more about the node sale, or you want to learn more about Zero-G Labs and what they're trying to build, then I definitely recommend you guys follow them over on Twitter. And along with that as well, you can join them over on their Discord if you have any questions related to learning about the ecosystem or the node itself in order to become a validator on the network. But overall, I think Zero-G has got an opportunity here to do something quite big in the Web3 space, and that's to be able to provide this new infrastructure layer similar to a lot of the large language models that exist today in the Web2 world, how they've been able to help a variety of applications and use cases. I think there is that same opportunity here within the crypto and Web3 space to a large extent. It'll be interesting to see how this could help evolve a lot of services in DeFi, as well as some of our other favorite narratives here on this channel. But until the next vid, everyone, thank you all so much for watching as always. Consider dropping a like as always. You can use the link down below if you want to learn some more details around the node or any other things around the project. But until the next one, I'll see you guys on Monday. Take care, everyone.